Hello everyone, and welcome again to Heart with me, Reuben Kigame. This is a beautiful Wednesday that the Lord has made, and it is time for us to talk deep. Now, today on the radar, I have people of my trade, musicians. So we're going to be talking heart to heart as musicians. And guess what we're talking about? We're talking about melody theft. Yes, you heard it. Melody theft, the stealing of people's melodies and making them your own. Now, you might wonder, does this happen among Christians? Oh yes, it does. It happens too much, if you may ask me. And so I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. I want you to stay tuned.
It has just come off the press. It's more candid than your ordinary book. It is so real. Touch My Scars, Raised by a Village by Jane Yobera is a deeply therapeutic 14-chapter book that talks about the beautiful and the ugly sides of 14 women.
My name is Jane Jerry Yobera.
And how they have navigated through the scars to become what they are today. Their pains will move you, but their victories will give you a reason to face your own battles.
I am the author of this book, Touch My Scars, Raised by a Village.
You will not manage to put the book down once you begin to read.
I hope and pray that it will be a blessing to all of you that read. It's a candid account of my life and the life of others that have impacted my life.
Available on Amazon as paperback and Kindle. You can also order your copy today in Kenya by calling or texting 0720815535 in Nairobi or 0719494970 for the rest of Kenya. For more information, visit www.touchmyscars.com.
If you've never subscribed to our channel, we are asking you to kindly consider that. And remember to push that bell sign because that allows you to receive notifications when we put up new material. And I would like to also tell you about our sister channel. It's called Fish TV Africa. If you've not subscribed to that one, also look it out and subscribe, and you'll be amazed what's coming shortly there. Okay, usually I begin by singing for you a song. Today, unfortunately, I'm not going to be singing for you one of those oldies, the archive stuff, because throughout my presentation, I'm going to pull out a couple things that will be sing-song, in fact. Now, I would like to put a caveat on what I'm sharing today. First of all, it's nothing personal. So don't look for, some of these sensational gossipy material and you think Kigame is targeting a particular musician. I'm going to share some examples, but I'll leave out the names just to be able to prove to you that it's not about who is doing what. But those examples might be obvious to some of you. So I need to protect the identities. But also, secondly, the aim of this particular program is really to challenge my fellow musicians to trust God for fresh melodies. God is a resourceful person, I tell you, and He's always revealing fresh stuff. I mean, He's the creator of everything. I was looking at some verses here in the book of Genesis. Genesis is the book of beginnings. Now, Genesis chapter 4 has some very interesting reference. As a book of beginnings, Genesis chapter 4 focuses on several families, and one of those is the family of a man or a mzee called Lamech. Now, it says in Genesis 4 from verse 19, Lamech married two women, one named Ada and the other Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock. Verse 21, his brother's name was Jubal. It says here he was the father of all who play the harp and flute. Verse 22 says Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. All right. So as the book of beginnings, we also see the beginning of music. That means God gave people the ability to make music. You see Jubal being the father of those who play on the harp as well as the flute. Now, that means that music did not originate with the devil. God gives gifts to people. And that means that he is always revealing. As the source of music, he is always giving fresh ideas. And so there is really no point taking somebody's song and then you take the melody and then put your own words, and worse still, you don't acknowledge it. Yeah, you don't ask for permission. You don't acknowledge that you took somebody's melody, but you use it as if it was your own. In fact, you own the rights to the melody. Now that is disturbing to me. I think it is wrong. That is why I'm sharing from my heart to yours. Because there is nothing wrong with using somebody's melody. Actually, there's nothing wrong. But if you do, then please ask for permission. So that even in your recording, once you make it, a marketable commodity, you can say the melody is by this person and, it's used with permission. Nothing wrong with that. I give permission, by the way, to people to use my music. And as long as they acknowledge, that is okay. The only time I feel very comfortable my music being used without permission is when people sing it in families or, as individuals or as churches. You don't need to come to ask for permission to sing my songs as a church. But once you put it out for the market, I may have a problem because you're making money out of it. So I began to pick up this trend of people using other people's melodies very early in my journey as a musician. And, you hear a song and you wonder, haven't I heard this with somebody else? I don't know how many of you growing up in the 80s remember this. La 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 la. It was a very common Swahili song. But, when I heard it, I just thought, but that is The Gambler by Kenny Rogers. I mean, I already was very exposed to The Gambler, you've got to know when, it's all there. And everybody knows that, that's Kenny Rogers' song. So when you pick it and use it and, put some Swahili words, it's a stolen melody. At least say, this is song such and such, sang to the tune of The Gambler or something like that. Now, of course, when I call people nowadays, I hear a lot of Don Williams, but it's in English. La la la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. La la la, I hear that on a lot of ringback tones. And I'm sure some of you know the song, but that is really a Don Williams song, about Amanda, Amanda, So it's somebody has actually picked it up and put, Don Williams melody. It's a stolen melody. For sure. Yeah, and a couple times I've been listening to the radio or, you're on television and something comes up, So, but when you hear that, if you've been in the church long enough, you know that it's, Lord, I give you my heart, I give you my soul, I live. You hear that and this is a familiar song. But, a different set of words is put to it. Yeah. And I don't know how many of you know, there is a song that I heard some time back, that was really just a lifting of Bulindela, la 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 la. So you hear this and it's that sounds familiar. Maybe growing up, you may actually have heard this one. Seems I've been marching all of my life. I think it's called God's Own Fool. But somebody put, some local dialect words, and if you go on YouTube, it's all there. I mean, the issue is not that it's a bad thing, and I know the tune, that the vernacular tune, but why would you not just acknowledge? It's a beautiful, rendition, but it's not the original, it's not the person's original tune. Yeah, and they're all over the church, you'd la la, la la. This is a South African song, but we have now Swahili words put to it. But the issue is acknowledgement. Then there is this other one. It's also from Ese. So I've heard some Swahili words to it, but it's actually keep me true. Forget whether it was Jabu. I think it must be Jabu that one of those. And I can almost hear that Emmanuel, taken from down south. So that you look at all these things and you ask yourself, oh man, there's just so much going on. And, the issue is that these songs end up in the hands of people who then shine with them as the original composers. But the tunes are not originally with them. Today, if you went online and just began to perform something, even when we have sung like Amazing Grace, How Sweet the Sound, and I've done it like to the tune of House of the Rising Sun, the copyright just comes up, and you have to restitute. Now, this became so serious when I went into music production. And, people would come to the studio, and this goes especially to those of you that do, recordings, you are sound engineers or video producers, and someone comes to you with a song, and you don't even check whether the song is originally their composition. So you go ahead and produce, and you can be lumped up together with, someone for taking somebody's copyrighted material. So someone came to my studio, very nice sounding productions. And I just, I was wowed, that sounds so good. I couldn't believe a Kenyan could write anything like that. And so I listened to the first tune. Okay, I didn't know it. But the second tune was a tune I knew. In fact, I asked him, okay, isn't this particular song? Is this really yours? He says, it is mine. And I said, okay, yeah. So I laid down 2 tracks. Now, when he came to the third track, for sure, I caught him. Because now he came to do a song. For those of you that know, the song is called Love Remains. And he was actually singing Love Remains and calling it his song. And I said, no, but I can go online and pull this song for you. In fact, we used to play it at a station. So when I showed him, he got so embarrassed. What am I trying to point to? I work mostly in Christian circles, and my production house, deals with a lot of Christian musicians. And it gets so embarrassing when someone tells you this is my own material when it is actually not. And today I'm just talking heart to heart to say, you know what? It's not just wrong, because you can actually be sued. You can pay lots of money just for using somebody's material. And so maybe it's time to check with the Kenya Copyright Board and all the copyright societies around, and make sure that you register your material, but also make sure that every time you sing somebody's song, you ask for permission. Because when you fail to, you can get into very big trouble. In fact, it's by the grace of God that many of us who maybe have been caught in this kind of thing have not been brought to book. And so I'm just pleading with you to think very carefully about changing that trend and trusting God for, fresh melodies, because He's able to give you the very best. Now, so that leads me to the last point here. In case you love a song so much and you really don't want to sing the song, but you just like the way it sounds, there's nothing wrong learning from the melody lines or the melody patterns. But if you're going to write a song like it, then don't take the lines straight from the song. At least if a song goes something like, if that is the melody, la 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 la, what you need to do, if you really want to retain the mood of that, you could maybe change at least 2 or 3 notes. Da, 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 da. And it becomes a totally different melody. So, or da 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 da, or ba 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 ba, or whatever. Just change it so that it's not somebody else's melody. And that goes to the beats. Sometimes, those of you that are producers, you just go and listen to somebody's beat and pick it up and, fix somebody's song on it. You know what? One day it will catch up with you. But worse still, those of us who know the original tunes end up not respecting you so much. And so may God help you as you think through this. From my heart to yours, I really want you to succeed. And so let's work at, originality. Let's bring out something really fresh from our archives. And I believe that God will bless you. Yeah, so I mean this well. I don't mean to destroy you. By the way, you can be writing a song and you finish writing and then you realize, I think I have been influenced by somebody here. Maybe this is something I've been listening to so much and it has so influenced me. Maybe because you like the style and you just, get writing and you realize, I may have picked somebody's melody. And that happened to me once. In 2016, when I was preparing for the Usifadhaike album, I had a song of gratitude to God. And, I wanted a rockish sound. So I, so I had something like that. But then when I put my melody on, Niliamka asubuhi, then I realized, but that sounds like, now listening back, that sounds like a song by Casting Crowns, So I dropped it. I said, no, I can't include it as long as I can hear a clear indication of a push towards Casting Crowns. So, and it's not like I threw away the song. No, I just said until I get a fresh inspiration, then I'll finish that song. So it's lying somewhere in my archives on the machine. But so the point I'm making is we all can fall there very easily. The worst is if you do it knowingly. It is not right. It's not right. Yeah, so that's about all I had for you today. And I'm sharing this out of love, total love, pure heart of love for each of you. And I appreciate what you're doing for the kingdom and for the country and for the world. And in case you're struggling, maybe you're wondering, where do I start? Tell you what, I'm willing to talk to you and listen to you, and maybe we can walk together and see how we can help one another. So don't you feel alone, and don't give up in case you've been caught in this. I think it is something we can work on together. Yeah, so that's all I had for you today. And by the way, I really look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. In case you've not subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram as Papa Reuben Kigame, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Reuben Kigame. God bless you. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Mulindwe. Oriti.